I'm a girl in my late 20s and I'm gay. I'm not masculine. In fact, I have a very feminine voice and quite a neutral body language. So, yeah, feminine girls can be gay too. And no, it's not just a phase. There are some common questions that people ask me, like, for example, when or how did you find out you are gay? Or did you ever try being with a guy? It's a personal experience and it varies from person to person. With me, I never found out, I just knew it all along. When I was 5, I was begging to cut my hair short. I wanted to wear the blue uniform to school, and I had a crush on a girl. When I was 8, I convinced some female friends to make out with me. I'm not proud of that, but kids are usually curious about things at that age. Then, at 11, I had a boyfriend, obviously because we live in a heteronormative society and we feel the need to imitate others. I said okay to that boy, thinking that's how things work. But a couple of years later, at the age of 13, I became sexually aware. I discovered that there are girls who like girls, and I understood that I wasn't the only one who felt this way. I also met a group of people a little older than me who weren't straight either, so I started hanging out with them just because we had this in common. I used to lie to my family and tell them I'm going to see my best friends, but actually I met with that group who turned out to be into drugs and stuff. I knew they were bad influence, but I kept seeing them because they are the only people I could talk to about my sexuality. They didn't judge me. Later on, I eventually distanced myself from them because they were bad influence. But this is something very important to talk about because when the parents are judgmental towards their child, then most likely the child will end up doing things behind their backs and taking big risks. At least that was the case for me. My parents are Lebanese and they're considered open minded compared to other families who are more traditional. But whenever the subject of homosexuality popped up, they made it loud and clear that they did not approve it. A few times during my teenage years, they found out about me by finding or reading private messages between me and some girls, and they would scream their lungs out at me, and they even forbid me to talk to my best friends just because they obviously knew about my sexuality and helped me hide it. I hated being home because I was scared and stressed and I had to behave very differently. The stress used to eat me up so bad, I became depressed to the extent of having deep suicidal thoughts. Actually, because of my parents not accepting my sexuality, I risked my life in many, many situations, especially around the age of 15 when the hormones were kicking and I wanted to do some intimate things with my partner but didn't have anywhere to go. So we ended up going to some really shady places. I had many experiences where I didn't know we were being watched by a strange man, and this man would suddenly appear out of nowhere and show us his thing, touch himself, or even masturbate. Many times I feared for my partner's life and for mine. When I turned 17, my parents once again found a picture of me holding a girl's hand, and it was hell on earth. I thought my dad was going to throw me out on the streets. So I said, okay, I will comply with his rules and I will date a guy. So I did. I had some experiences, but it was one failed relationship after the other. The guys I went out with knew about my sexuality. They were gentle and understanding, but it simply didn't work out. I even had intercourse with one of the guys, and it was horrible. Not because of him, but because I was doing it just to prove my parents wrong. Like an argument, for the day they tell me, oh, but you didn't really try to be with a guy, so how can you be so sure? Later on, in my mid 20s, my siblings found out about me and gave me an ultimatum, forcing me to tell my parents, otherwise they would. I couldn't take it anymore, so I wished for an accident. I wanted something bad to happen to me, so that the nightmare will be over once my family sees that I am more than just gay, that I am my knowledge, I am my strengths, I am my qualities, I am a good daughter and a good friend. But always be careful what you wish for because mine came true. I was diagnosed with a rare health condition that eats the bones, and I required long hospitalization. This is when my family became aware of their priorities. They probably thought, well, our daughter can die, so we shouldn't give her such a hard time. And slowly but surely, they became accepting. Today, they are proud of me, they defend my rights, and they protect me with all they have. I just think it's very sad that we have to go through all of this in order to appreciate other things, to appreciate each other and love each other unconditionally. This should be the case no matter who we go to bed with at the end of the day. I really believe that there should be more awareness about the LGBT community in the Middle East, especially in Lebanon, because around us there are many, many, many more non heterosexual people than we know it. They just aren't necessarily obvious. Parents also have to know that they are harming their child by not supporting them. At the end of the day, we can't change who we are. We can only hide it for a little while. So if you're not ready to love your child unconditionally, don't be a parent. To whoever is listening, please sympathize with those around you because you don't know in what ways your words and behaviors can affect them. If you think that someone around you is not straight, try to make them feel comfortable and provide them with the space and opportunity to open up to you. They might really need you. And if you're questioning your own sexuality, don't hesitate to reach out to someone maybe older, someone you can trust, like a doctor or a professor or a family member who's ready to answer your questions. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you will take it and learn from it.